You're not too late. You're not behind. You're not invisible. You are rising. Welcome to Ambition Habits. This is the podcast where women rise together. Here, confidence isn't taught, it's remembered. Belonging isn't earned, it's honored. And legacy isn't a someday, it's a rhythm we build now. So take a breath and let's begin. Welcome to Ambition Habits. Hi, I'm Tiff. Welcome. So what we're going to be working on in this episode, this is the second of our 4-part series, is that we're going to be looking at performance in motion. And today what we're going to be looking at is on how our bodies carried us, how our training shaped us, and what performance meant for us in 2025. So how did you perform in your sport? How did you look after your body this year in performance and also training? And how everything that you did in your performances, in your competitions, your performances in your training, your performance in your practice, like what was it that those things that shaped you, that created you into the player that you are now at the end of this year? So the first question I've got for you is, what did your body teach you this year? I want you to be really thinking about that. I'm going to share with you what my body taught me this year so that you can start thinking about, well, what is it that your body taught you throughout this year? So I've written down a list here because I can't tell you this one off the top of my head, because I want to be really clear on the message that I want to give you of what I discovered about my performances and what my body taught me this year in how to perform better when I was competing, how to train better, and the things that I wanted to make sure that I was understanding better on so that I could perform better throughout the year in my sport. So the first one was I was to plan correctly for competitions. So the problem that I had was because I was so excited about a competition coming up, like a tournament, that I'd practice anywhere between 4 and 6 hours the day before the tournament. And sometimes the tournament would go over 2 days, especially if you won your section and then you got into the knockout round. So I would find that if I practiced anywhere between 4 to 6 hours the day before, by the time I got to the second day, I'd get through the first day, but be exhausted from, all the mental training that I would be working on as well. And the drilling that I'd be doing from the previous day, and obviously then the performance of the first day. But when I got through to the second day, I was too exhausted. So I found that if I made it through to the second day, by that time, I'd be absolutely exhausted mentally, not so much the physical aspects, because I knew how to manage that, but the mental aspects, because I was working on always being tuned in practice so that I'd be tuned in performance. I noticed that if I did get through to that second day, I was absolutely exhausted. So I had to make sure I learned how to manage that better. So that was a big thing. So it was, not practicing more than 2 hours the day before, just to get the feel and feeling comfortable, get used to the particular, I'd go and practice if I had the opportunity to go and practice at the location where I was playing on that next day, so that I could just get used to be familiar with the area, be familiar with the rink, and be familiar with how the grass worked and all of that sort of stuff. So that was a big learning. Don't do more than 2 hours the day before TIFF, otherwise you get too exhausted. Big thing too is to work on all areas of my body for training. So it was like the strength, the flexibility, the mobility, the stability, and the stamina. Also, recovery. Recovery was really important as well. And why I spent a lot of time on working on all these different areas was that I wanted to make sure that I was strong and stable when I was competing. I wanted to be able to outlast my opponents because I knew I was fitter and stronger. If you see a lot of lawn bowlers, you'll notice that some of them carry a bit of extra weight and what have you. So I don't want to be like that. The younger girls are not so much like that, but the older women tend to be. And I don't want to be like that. I want to be like the young whippersnappers. I want to be, competing at that level. And I want to make sure that I'm fit and strong to be able to do that. I want to be able to outlast my opponents mentally because I'm not only fitter and stronger than them, but because I've fueled my body correctly as well. So when you go to a bowling club, the food that they serve is not necessarily great. Some people have other choices on the type of fluids that they actually drink as well. Again, not my scene. So I wanted to make sure that I was really focusing on that as well, was fueling my body correctly, both from a food perspective and also a hydration perspective, so that I was focused, tuned in, and I could just focus on, performing as well as I possibly could when I was competing in my tournaments. Now, the other thing too around that is also you want to be thinking like if you're fueling your body better, like nutritionally, and hydrating your body better with the right products, right, the right foods, then of course you're actually going to help yourself perform better in life as well. So you'll just feel better. So when you're feeling better, you tend to perform better. But when you're feeling better in life, everything is so much better as well. Like you feel confident about other areas of your life, not just your sport. So just want you to be thinking about that as well from a nutritional point of view. Another important point that I want to get across to you as well about what my body taught me was so important to work on recovery. So, especially after big matches and tournaments, make sure that, like you're bending over a lot, right? So you're lunging and bending over a lot. So you're going to get fatigue in your legs. You're going to get a lot of fatigue in your lower back. So I needed to make sure that I had a system a regime in place that would then help me recover and also prepare me if I was playing the next day. I had a routine that I was going to put in place to prepare me so that my body was supple and ready to perform and compete at the level that I wanted to compete at. I didn't want to feel tired. I didn't want to feel achy. I wanted to make sure that my body was primed and ready for performance. So I made sure that I spent a lot of time on releasing the tightness and of the muscles and stretching and creating a lot of movement in my lower back and a lower body, especially, and upper back, because of that repetitive movement that you're doing. You're taking a lunge and bowling, so you're bending over a lot quite frequently especially when you're playing singles, not so much when you're playing a few other different types of matches. But it's really important that the recovery was there as well, because it's important for you to get over that previous performance, work on relaxation, working on stretching and releasing the tight areas in your body. But it's also good for you mentally as well. So it's not only good from a physical perspective, it's also really good from a mental perspective as well, because you want to be able to give yourself that permission and freedom of giving yourself a few days of recovery, so that you can then get yourself reset, ready for the next upcoming tournament and training and practice and all of those things that you need to do. Now, the second thing I want you to do here is I want you to rate what you thought your performance in these three areas were. So number one was strength. So just rate yourself between 1 and 5. So 1 being not so good, 5 being fantastic, is what you thought of yourself with your strength. Mine I put as a 4 because I'm always working on my strength. I know it can be better, but it was pretty good this year. So I was pretty happy with what I did with that. The second one I want you to rate yourself between 1 and 5 is recovery. How would you rate yourself as that? So I put myself down as a 3 because I didn't feel like my recovery, especially early on, was that great. But I learnt a lot as I went through. And I know that I've still got to be, really listening to my body, especially as it's getting older. It needs a bit more time for recovery. There's extra things that I need to be doing for it that I didn't have to do when I was in my 20s and 30s. I could get away with stuff, especially when I hit 45. I was getting stiffer and less mobile, less flexible is really the word. And so that I knew that I'd have to start working on it. So here I am at 55 now. And because I've been working a lot on what I need to make sure that my body's doing from a recovery perspective, it's getting better. It's on the way. So that's why I'm giving myself a 3, because I know I can do more and I can be better within my recovery. But we're on the way for that one. And then the third one that I want you to rate yourself between 1 and 5 is also your mindset. What would you rate yourself from, 1 not being that great to 5 with your mindset around your performance? Like, I give myself a 5 for that because I know, because of all the experience that I've had in my tennis career, in my golf career, I've worked really, really hard on my mindset in performance. I've worked really, really hard on my mindset in everyday life. And so all those things that I've accumulated and that knowledge that I've accumulated throughout those years, a long time, mind you, that I'm creating a much better performance from a mindset perspective now that I'm into bowls, because I've got all this experience and knowledge behind me. So I'm really happy with that. I'm not saying that it's perfect, but I'm saying that I'm giving myself a 5 because I'm constantly working on improving that area in my life. And I know that that's a huge, important aspect, is that people say, will go, oh, sports 90% mental and 10% physical. Look, it's 100% physical when you're focusing on the physical aspect, and it's 100% mental. So how you think will be how you perform. Okay. So it's the communication that you have from your mind to your body will be whether you are more successful or less successful, because it's all about how you think about how you perform, right? Whether you're confident or not confident, whether you believe or not believe, right? Those very simple things about confidence and belief. If you don't have those, you're not going to perform the way that you want. If you are negative and you put yourself down all the time, you are not going to perform the way you want. So it's all about building belief. It's all about building confidence so that you're performing better. So I've spent really my whole adult career in working on building confidence and building belief. And I know through all of that experience and all of that learning and all of that knowledge that I have gained along the way has helped me get to where I'm already going in my performance in my lawn bowls. And I'm progressing quickly, yes, but I work at it. I work on my mindset on a daily basis. I work on all the skills that I need in place. I work on the training. I do all the work that is going to give me what I want. You can't just expect to just show up and it's all just going to hit you. You have to do the work behind the scenes so you get the performance to happen. The thing about what I find when people go and watch other sports performers play, and it doesn't matter if there's local competition or national competition, and it doesn't matter what sport, what I find is that people are only seeing them on that rink in that moment, or they're only seeing them on that golf course in that moment, or they're only seeing them on that tennis court in that moment. They go, oh, what a talented player they are. They don't actually see all the work that they've done behind the scenes to create that, so that they are getting that performance in place on the day of that tournament or that competition. So I can't stress to you enough how important it is to not only look after your body, but also look after the mental side. I know even from myself with where I'm at in my bowls career is that I'm not where I want to be. I know where I'm headed, but I know that my skills will continue to catch up to my mindset because I keep working on the positivity. I keep working on the confidence. I keep working on the self belief. And I know that at some point, those physical skills will catch up with my mental skills. So I can't stress that to you enough, that it's so important that you make sure that you're working on your mindset. So if you've given yourself a 1, 2, 3, or even a 4, keep working at it. There's a lot of content that I've created here in the and Ambition Habits to help you build belief in and confidence in you, in your sport. So make sure you go and listen to that. And there's going to be so much more following in 2026. Really going to unleash a lot of great stuff for you to help you so that you are going to perform better in your sport. Okay. Don't let age hold you back either. Just a number. Now, once you've done that reflection of those 2 questions, what did your body teach you this year, and also how you rated your performance in strength, recovery, and mindset, I want you to share with me, did you feel then that you actually listened to your body, what your body was whispering to you? Were you in tune with your body? Were you in tune with what you were thinking? Were you listening to the messages that you were being given? Because when you go through this exercise, you start to discover a lot of things. You're like, oh, I wasn't really listening to my body. No, I pushed myself too hard in, like I said to you, I pushed myself too hard in my day leading up to the performance, worked way too hard. Then, when performance, tournament came along, I was tired by the time I had to compete because I pushed it too much. I didn't listen. Right. So I'm asking you, did you listen to what your body told you? Did you listen to what your mind was actually telling you? Were you listening to that negativity? Were you listening to that lack of self-belief? Were you listening to that lack of confidence? Or you could turn around and say, no, Tiff, I was listening and I was more confident and I had better self-belief. I felt really good about myself. I just want to know if you were listening. So I hope you love today's episode. I'd love it if you could share with me what you like best about what you heard today. And what we're going to be focusing on in our next episode is we're going to be focusing on confidence in connection and what we learnt from that along the way. So I look forward to hearing from what you like best about what you heard in these last 2 episodes, and sharing with me what you felt that your body said to you throughout the year. And I want you to dream big, believe in you, go after your dreams. This is where women rise together. Look forward to hearing from you and seeing you soon. Take care. Bye for now.